Good evening, and welcome to the hard sell, where the stick in the swill-bucket rattles back. It's another
Have a break.
And it's another After Dark Tia Maria episode. We're going back to the night of the 13th of June 1987, i.e. the morning of the 14th of June 1987, and Channel 4's deliberately eerie Nightime service. Piping out arthouse movies and documentaries about Czech artists into the small hours without announcers for the benefit of about 14 people. Today's commercial break comes right before a showing of Peter Brook's 1967 adaptation of what Channel 4 are rather oddly choosing to call the Merritt Saad. It and the Peter Weiss play on which it's based are more usually known as just Merritt Saad, but technically the real title of both is The Persecution and Assassination of Jean-Paul Marat as performed by the inmates of the asylum of Charenton under the direction of the Marquis De Sade. Hence the abbreviation. It's a bloody good film, but it's almost a definition of not for everyone. Basically, it's what the title says, the full title is. A fictional play about the killing of revolutionary leader Jean-Paul Marat, written and directed by the Marquis de Sade while in Charenton Asylum, acted by him and other patients, and staged by the governor for an invited audience to show off how great and progressive the asylum is. And then behind the fictional invited audience in the play is another audience, the real one, us, for whom Peter Brook and some legendary members of the RSC have staged this play of this play. You see how it's maybe not for everyone. It does have an incredible cast though. Patrick McGee, Ian Richardson, Glenda Jackson, Michael Williams, even a brief but memorable cameo for the great William Morgan Shepherd.
I'm a mad animal.
If you're interested in theatre, the French Revolution, the Marquis de Sade, the works of Peter Brook, or just that period in history in general, then it's required viewing, if not the easiest watch in the world. All in all, it's exactly the sort of thing you'd expect to see on Channel 4 in the 80s, even, or perhaps especially, at 1 o'clock in the morning. Here are all the adverts that immediately preceded the film. Absolutely none of them are a tenth as highbrow. Well, this wouldn't get made in this day and age. At least you'd hope not. Let's just describe what we got on our hands here. Several musty middle-aged robots trundling back and forth on casters in an apparent attempt to get the focus right on a parade of little girls. A mere 5 years after the mini-pops. They're on the same channel yet.
The new Pentax Zoom 70 is the world's only fully automatic compact camera with a built-in power zoom lens.
Smugbug Dan, however, just laughs at their folly, because he has a Pentax Wow Bagger Ultra Sex Machine, with autofocus and such. So he doesn't have to move a muscle to take loving, detailed photos of what I hope to God is his daughter.
All you have to do is move your thumb. Autofocus, auto-wind on, auto-everything.
I'd like to say it was a more innocent time, but we all know it wasn't, and that's the point.
The new Pentax Zoom 70. It does all the work, you take all the credit.
A slogan that I'm sure will be cited during the rise of the machines.
It does all the work, you take all the credit.
And now a glimpse into the future.
Technologies are replacing each other at an astonishing rate.
Sunday weather-wise, just right for doing all those odd jobs.
A future in which all three members of Bros have osmosed into a single creature and have a fondness for standing in dark rooms conjuring up weather reports from holograms of old men taking a shit.
But there's one innovation designed to stand the test of time.
This is the sort of thing you usually see, and saw quite a lot at the time because the 80s were obsessed with the future, from Philips or Panasonic, to promote their latest AV innovations. It's not, though. No, in this case it's for something quite different.
New Turtle Extra car wax.
Yes, it's actually for bloody turtle wax, for Christ's sake. One of the least futuristic products I can think of. Well, maybe this helped boost sales, who knows.
An advanced formula proven to give you the best performance yet from any car wax. New Turtle Extra. The car wax of the future is out now. Ideal for polishing your favorite vintage car.
I suppose it is kind of the point that it isn't a futuristic product. What with the vintage car crack at the end. And of course Anthony Valentine could sell anything.
Ideal for polishing your favorite vintage car.
Alright, back to the present. Which is to say the past.
There's a lighter, brighter world today, so enjoy your chocolates the light away. Maltesers,
Oh, I'm sorry, I think we've actually overshot a bit and landed in 1975 or something.
Maltesers, honeycomb center, crispy and light, real milk chocolate in every bite.
This kind of advert, a happy clappy montage accompanying a song in praise of the product that could have been carved out of pure cheddar, was becoming dated even by 1987. Only American soft drinks could really get away with it anymore. And that's just because we expect the Americans to be unsophisticated. Even then we had to get our own little snarky replies in.
Gosh, you know, it's one of those ads. Lots of kids with white teeth and giant shoulder pads.
But here we are, singing a song of Maltesers like it's the 50s or something.
There's a lighter, brighter world today, so enjoy your chocolates the light away. Maltesers.
If you actually sit down and think about it though, what exactly is wrong with this approach? It gets the message across, and provided the song is catchy enough, it sticks in the memory. And that's the two main functions of advertising right there. You can't say it doesn't fulfill its function. It's us that's the problem. The audience. Simply being sung at about how great the product is by 1987 is too simple for us tossy modern human types. Too direct. We expect to be convinced, argued at, tricked even. We require guile as evidence of sophistication. And it's vaguely embarrassing for all concerned when something like this decides not to bother with any. We need that evidence of sophistication in order to confirm our own. Something like this is not only patronising, it triggers the suspicion that we really are less sophisticated than we think we are, which is not something advertising should be making us feel, especially since it's true. But the real point is this: Maltesers are delicious.
Maltesers.
Tradition tells of a Pils lager and of a silent messenger's timeless search, his quest, that lager, the lager of Lamont.
You might remember this from the beer episode almost exactly a year ago. If not, you need to pay more attention. This is for your benefit, you know. Presumably. Well, there must be some reason. Alternatively, you could watch the complete archives right now for free at bobthefish.org.uk. Anyway, I'm not sure you can even get Lamont Pils over here anymore. I had a look on ratebeer.com, but there was nothing more recent than a decade ago.
For a strong Pils with a taste beyond time, smoothness beyond dreams. Seek out the lager of Lamont.
Yeah, I'm not sure what a taste beyond time or smoothness beyond dreams actually means either. But whatever it is, it's almost certainly a load of old bollocks that's applied to Lamont. Almost all the reviews themselves stalled at 1.9 stars out of 5, if that, with the flavour variously described as moderate malty, slightly grainy and metallic with faint fruity notes, faint malts with some cardboard, and If Satan could lactate, this is what he would produce. Which I think might be overstating the case a little. Save that sort of rhetoric for the Federation Brewery and the 2% Tesco value stuff. But yes, if it's not literally diabolical, then it's certainly bog standard stuff. It was popular for a while in the 80s though, and it was entirely because of all this Frank Frazetta stuff in the advert. Not Frazetta, of course, but David Bergen, animated by Tony White. Credit where it's due.
Seek out the lager of Lamont.
The Fit family particularly enjoys school sports day.
Yoghurt, which so help me God has an H in it. I will fight you. The Fit family would appear to have been St. Ivel Shape's mascots at the time, and were previously encountered on this programme very briefly in another break from round about now. You might remember it as the one with the disturbing opening frame of the buff garden gnomes. That doesn't make me want to buy yoghurt.
The young Fits find it all an ideal way to build up an appetite for a mid-afternoon snack of shaped fruit yoghurt.
Anyway, here they are in person, fucking up a sports day circa 1953, as Penelope Keith looks on.
Which tastes delicious and has only half the fat.
I get the feeling that these arseholes were just a little too self-satisfied to really catch on as audience identification figures. I mean, it's all very well, and indeed perfectly sound and logical strategy, for a yoghurt to embrace the pervading popularity of keep fit, slimming and that sort of thing that was going on in the mid to late 80s. But unfortunately, the characters through whom they decided to communicate this strategy are twats, who no one likes.
Only half the fat. Then Mr. and Mrs. Fit limber up for the parents' race. Shaped fruit yoghurt.
The yoghurt's okay though.
For Fit families everywhere.
Orangina is a tasty fizzy orange drink whose USP, roughly, is the presence of little orange bits floating about in it. It's best if you shake it before opening so that they float, instead of forming a slightly off-putting sediment at the bottom of the bottle. But it's a fizzy drink, so not too hard or it'll explode. To advertise this point, the product goes with a strange strategy, making itself appear to be a lot more trouble than it's worth. Decant it properly, or it'll pour itself straight back into the bottle while making passive-aggressive noises at you.
To really enjoy Orangina's unique taste, you have to mix the real orange pieces with the sparkling orange juice drink.
Well, fuck you, you bloody orangeade. I paid for you. I'll skip the glass and pour you straight down my throat if I want to. Bastard. Fortunately, Chet Beefslab is there to mansplain the fizzy pop to our protagonist.
And to do that, you've got to shake it.
Thanks, T-shirt man. And now the drink's decided to just irritate the shit out of absolutely everyone instead. Bollocks to this product, I'm getting a Fanta instead. Orangina. The orangeade that's a prick.
Orangina, shake the bottle, wake the drink.
For those of you who like your daily bran, here's a delicious new idea.
Finally, a breakfast cereal. Well, it's almost pure fibre, really. It's one of those shit-yourself-thin cereals. At least they bunged in a bit of fruit with it.
Weetabix Top Bran. All the goodness of your usual bran, but a little crunchier and a lot tastier.
Centering around Isaac Newton on a particularly cheap soundstage, having ingredients thrown at him for no particular reason except that Newton is vaguely associated with fruit. The real Sir Isaac Newton would be bloody annoyed to see himself reduced to a cipher and an apocryphal tale that didn't even happen. But then he was a horrible bastard, so who cares?
With added raisins, almonds, and apple.
This almost Brechtian level of cheapness could still be got away with in those days without needing to be ironic about it. It's hard to imagine this getting made in this day and age in quite this way, even though it would of course be perfectly possible. It's not as if it looked impressive at the time either. The difference is, we hadn't been spoiled with alternatives yet. Again, we think, rightly or wrongly, that we're better than this sort of thing. And no one's going to successfully sell anything to us by saying we're not.
Top brand, high fiber for people with taste.
And that's the last advert, and it's on to the synthesised panpipes of Channel 4's deliberately eerie Nightime ident. Well, that's how they spelled it anyway. Followed by the text description Channel 4 used for their Nightime service in lieu of paying John Livesey overtime, voicelessly introducing the Merritt Saad. This is the special television edit, however, so it gets another introduction courtesy of Patrick McGee, the movie's Marquis, in a desperate attempt to set the scene.
In 1808, the asylum at Charenton near Paris was famous for its plays. The actors and actresses were the patients themselves. The audience was made up of high society from Paris. The author was himself an inmate, the Marquis de Sade. At this time, the French Revolution was recent history. The great revolutionary leaders, Danton, Robespierre, and Marat, were dead. Napoleon was emperor. This much is fact.
Clear? That much is fact. He doesn't explain who Marat was in particular, or why he spent his life in the bath, or Charlotte Corday's motivation in killing him. But, look, it's all a setting for the exploration of the abstract concepts of revolution, free will, history, theatre, reality, fiction, and madness, okay? Just bear with. This is the last hurrah of Jeremy Isaacs' Channel 4, before Michael Grade comes along and starts commissioning programmes more than 8 people will want to watch at any given time. Big Brother is 12 years away. Enjoy it while it lasts. You've been watching a Bob the Fish production. Thanks! If you haven't found it already, be sure to check out our website at bobthefish.org.uk. Literally hundreds of videos not unlike this one that will make you laugh, think and realise new things or your money back. Which works out great because they're all absolutely free. All of this is possible thanks to the not unique way that Bob the Fish productions are paid for by you, the viewing public, via Patreon. For a donation of as little as £1 a month, not only do you ensure that I still have food and shelter so I can carry on making these programmes, but you could become eligible for a whole host of cool extras. New video essays, special event live streams, all my content a week in advance, and my book on the history of the BBC, Rule the Waves, chapter by chapter as it's written. And some cake, if you go out and buy a cake and eat it while you're watching. And if you don't want to support on a monthly basis, you can make a one-off donation via coffee. It all helps stave off scurvy. bobthefish.org.uk. You make it what it is.